Good morning. Just walking in, guys, getting our lives together. Hopefully you are starting your day as grand as I'm trying to start mine. I am excited. It is Thursday. We are making it through this week. I'm going to put this up. We're making it through the week, right? Trying to do all the things we are called to do. All the things that we want to do, all the things we don't want to do. Let's just be honest. But I am Jackie Glass, Mama, Navy Vet, Certified Doer, and your delegate for the 89th District House of Delegates. Also your laced up legislator, because I'll be rocking my sneakers. Listen, it has been a dynamic week up here. I'm sure you guys, if you're paying attention or if you don't, it's been a lot. We've got today. I'll start with what we got in the hopper, and then sort of talk about what's going on in our legislature. So today I'll have to go on the floor, and I'm going to take care of these ashy hands, so you guys know that your legislator won't show up with ashy hands. Okay. I'm not going to do that today. Today I will have to present my bills. Good morning to you. So I'll present some bills today. Just so they're on their second read. Remember, we talked about this on Tuesday. They're on their second read. So now I'll have to say, hey, I'm Jackie, a delegate Glass. This bill is about this, this, and this, and I hope you guys pass it on to the third reading so that it can be voted on by tomorrow, and then it'll be on its way to the Senate. So that's a great news for us. Like, it's really good. It feels really good. And it's really exciting to see this process and to learn and to try to, dig in a meaningful way. That's what's happening with that. There's not much else. We are just getting ourselves prepared for this weekend. I am hopeful, and I'll say this again at the end of this, I am hopeful that I will see you all this weekend. We have a town hall. It'll be the first town hall that we're having since we started this gig at 6 o'clock on Saturday. And it is only going to be an hour because I believe that's a lot to ask for people on a Saturday anyway. However, it will be a town hall in the truest of forms. Deborah, good morning. It'll be a town hall in the truest of forms, because I'm just going to give a brief update because we do this every Tuesdays and Thursdays. I don't think that there's any need to go through any lengthy conversations about my feelings on things and about what's happening. I'll just give a brief update, and the rest of the time will be left for people like you guys to ask the questions, ask for information, whatever that looks like, information, resources, or whatever. So tell your mama, tell your friend, tell your cousins, tell your neighbor, bring your kids, because we're having that town hall, and it really is centered around, it'll go as long as as an hour, but it'll only go as long as the people have questions or comments or whatever. So Saturday, it is virtual. There's a Facebook event already set up with the link in there, so you don't have to worry about. We didn't have folks register this time, didn't want to make it too complicated, but next time we'll make sure we have you registered. Please go to the Delegate Jackie Glass site and sign up for our newsletter. The community has been so strong in just making sure that that you guys stay in the know of what's happening here. There is no way that I can do all the things all at once. It's just not possible. It just isn't possible. Okay, so one of the biggest things that we have going on here right now is, and you guys are probably, if you pay attention to the news, I don't know what the Virginia pilot said today, but there's a big sort of holding in the hands of mask mandates. Oh wow, and I see you already. This is where we're going this morning. Yep. And yeah, the mask mandate. So the other day, and this is what I need everybody to kind of hit what we've been sort of understanding, is that the Senate is a split, right? There's the Democrats have the majority in the Senate, whereas in the House we are in the minority. So the relationship between the two is really important as how we strategically get things passed or stop things from passing. The other day, a Senator Chapman of I think he's in the Fairfax area, put forth, I don't know if it's an amendment bill, and I just really need to get a little bit smarter on it, saying that pretty much we're going to give parents the option to send their children to school with a mask. He had two other senators, Senator Morrissey and Senator Lewis, sign on with him, because remember, when they're in order for things to happen over there, Dems have a slight edge, and that slight edge is looking like it's going to make this happen, which would make it, while our school systems would still be able to say, here, we're following CDC, yeah, it was so important. Yep. So Deborah said that's why Senator Lewis's vote was so important. It was very important. It's a balancing act, right? But this is our constitutional democratic republic, and how it works, right? Is that we send people this is a reminder for everyone, right? Even for myself, and as I still vote, right? Is that this constitutional democratic republic means that we are governed by a document, right? Constitutional. There's a document that tells us how we run this country. Democratic means there is a voting, a people's choice sort of way about choosing who helps make sure that document is enforced. But republic is where we sort of forget that we're not a democracy. We're actually a republic, right? And to the republic which it stands, one nation, right? We say that the republic means is that we as a people, the democratic part is us choosing those people to represent us, and they make all these decisions on our behalf. And that's what everyone is here doing, right? Making decisions on the behalf of their constituents. Now, for me as a delegate, every delegate here has about somewhere between 80 and 83-ish thousand people that they are supposed to be a voice for, supposed to be a vote for, right? And so it matters. It matters what each of us do up here. So with the mask mandate, this would ultimately say, hey, parents can send their kids to school with a mask or not. It's their choice. That schools can mandate it, but parents still have that choice. And the argument, I sort of did some reading this morning looking at the argument, and it was like, hey, this isn't about mask mandates. This is about parents' rights. And as you guys have seen before, I've really struggled with this idea of parents' rights, because as a person who has advocated not just for my little citizens, but for other little citizens, and sort of made to be believed that I am either overreacting or that I need to let people just do what it is they're doing. Like, I've never felt represented in these kinds of movements, and it's really hard to see that happen when I've sat in IEP meetings of children that are not my own, when I've been talked to officers of children and not felt like as a parent or a parenting person in my village that there have been rights. So it's really hard to hold in hands. But we have to understand, as parents, y'all, we are required to meet our children's basic needs, whether it's for food, clothing, shelter, or education. But we're also governed by laws, right? Our whole lives are legislated. And you guys can drop your comments and tell me what you sort of think about, how you feel about this possibly happening. Because the Speaker of the House has already said that he will call, they're going to make it an emergency order. If it comes over here, he's going to have a special education committee meeting where they're going to push it through. And the governor's asked for it to be an emergency order, which means instead of it going into effect like most laws in July 1, right, it would go into effect probably in March, because it would be pushed through to the governor to sign off and say it needs to happen. The last time that happened was last year with the eviction stuff, right? There was an emergency. People were getting evicted. I think the Dems used it last or 2 cycles ago to get that housing piece together, so people weren't just kept. We already got an eviction problem here, right? I think Norfolk is number 7 in the state for evictions, but we already have that issue, but they pushed that through. So I started thinking about legislation that really deal with parents' rights and responsibilities, because in everything in our life, in this role, there are rights that we have and there are responsibilities. And I guess to make the argument that rights are being violated, it's hard. It's hard to balance, but there are free range laws in different places like Utah where, where here you may be appalled if I sent my 8-year-old on the bus by herself to get to her school, right? The public bus. You would be appalled, but in places like Utah, that's okay, right? That other laws that sort of govern us is like a car seat law. I started thinking about these laws where it's not necessarily right. It's for the safety of the child and for the safety of others. Car seat, right? What happens when you get a new baby? When you get a new baby, like you go shopping for it. What happens when there's a new baby, right? What happens is like you can't leave the hospital without a car seat. That's against the law, right? And that's not because the government wants to be telling you what to do. It's for the safety of that baby. And when I sort of run down the fact that we aren't able to work our kids to death, we used to have kids going down, the little citizens would be the best kind of workers to send down the chimney to do work, right? Literally, child labor laws are a thing because we realize that's probably not good for the health and welfare of that child or for us as a society if we're going to continue to grow population-wise. So we have to put things in place to ensure the health and welfare of the people around us. So we can no longer work our kids to death. We can no longer put them down chimneys because they're smaller. Like, we had to find new ways to do things. I think it's important to recognize the trickle-down effect that this will have on our community. I don't know for a fact, but I hypothesize that if this goes through, we do have many educational staff and little citizens that will be really afraid to make that step to go to school because they have people that they love and care about that they just don't want. Don't even want a chance getting getting COVID and passing it along. That's a real sentiment, even if vaccinated, right? We know the best way to sort of move through this is vaccination, but not everybody's getting vaccinated for a number of reasons, whether it's because for religious reasons, whether they just don't want to do it. There's a number of reasons. But there are folks that want to protect their loved ones that I see this trickling into our school system in a way that we're already low on educators. We're already low on bus drivers. We're already in a place of scarcity. And I just think that this is going to exacerbate it in a way that's going to be detrimental to our health, to our educational and health systems. So that's my biggest concern, sort of pushing forward, and that will always be my stance, is that this is an opportunity. I think I told the Lieutenant Governor this the other day, is that, this is an opportunity to sort of teach parents how to work within their school systems, right? How to work with their school boards, how to advocate in a meaningful way, because lots of folks don't necessarily know, what does my school board do? Now they're learning, right? Policy and practice. So it's a great way to be a good conduit to educating folks on how processes work for our other elected officials, rather than making their jobs super, 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 super hard, because it's divisive or divisive, however you want to say it. This is the divisive thing, not the curriculum. Not the curriculum. But please drop in the comments your thoughts, or maybe your foresight, because I'm sure we'll be having a lot more conversation around this as votes are happening. And, I always want to come from a place of listen more, talk less, be attentive, as we're making some really, really, really serious decisions down here. For real. For real. So I think that's the majority of my wrap up. Like I said, I will be, I try to get back into town on the weekends to take care of business, but I really do want you guys to show up to the town hall. I want you to be thinking right now about questions you may have, concerns, because I'll still be coming back, and so it may be something that I can help out with now. And let me see, this could have been a moot point. Yep, Senator Lewis and the other didn't vote against the party. Yeah, it is so I'll tell you this. Someone told me that when we're doing this work, you got to have your questions that you ask yourself so that you can make decisions rapidly. So when I'm making a decision about a bill, right, I ask myself a couple different questions, right? Where do constituents stands? Is it an unfunded mandate? And when I mean by unfunded mandate, am I mandating our local government, because we're a Dillon Rule state? And what Dillon Rule means is that essentially our local governments can't do much without the state saying it's acceptable, right? I did a whole thing on this like a couple of years ago. We did Dillon Rule, and I think that's something we'll need to do again in our Citizen U. So if you haven't been to the website, we did start a Citizen University where we're just breaking down these things so you can understand. But the Dillon Rule says they're governed by the state. The city can't just up on a whim be like, hey, yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to, I'm trying to think of a random thing. Oh, we're going to have our elections a different day. No, the state has to say, you can do that. So oftentimes the states tell our localities, the local governments, that they have to do something that'll cost them money without paying, right? So like, who's going to fund it? I don't believe in unfunded mandates, period. I don't believe in putting the burden on the local government or without having a plan to help them fund it, because we're already coming from a place of lack. And then I try to pay attention. And with a vote like this, paying attention to the way, as Deborah said, like this created even more divisiveness. Us up here, the divisiveness is we sit on different sides of the room. But when we go back home, we are in communities, right? We are in schools. We are in spaces and places where this shows up in much uglier ways than a dissent on the House floor, right? It becomes, it's like an infectious disease, that sort of building of hate and discontent and I believe there's worry too that these sorts of things do. So yeah. Michelle says, good morning. Mask mandates is saving lives. It's the mandatory vaccine that hasn't been effective in contracting and preventing the spread of disease. I'm in support of the mask mandate. Thank you for sharing, Michelle. Hopefully in our neck of the woods, this won't be something that is that tears our community apart in the way that it's doing in others, and that we're able to all kind of agree that we want what's best for our little citizens. We want to stop the spread, and it's probably the smart thing to follow the guidance of the school board. But I am here, and you know how I will be voting. You know how I'll be voting. Oh, Michelle, you want to join us? You are more than welcome. I'm adding you in, Michelle. If you, yeah, it's really, 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 really important. We got about 10 more minutes. Okay, sorry. I don't know if you did that on accident, but I did try to pull you in. You are more than welcome to join me. If you want to come on the live with me and ask a question, that is perfectly okay. This is your time, essentially. The district, we do this district debrief every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:30 a.m. and leave it there for everybody else to do the rewind. So I thank you guys for just coming up, for being awake, to being alive, alert, awake, and hopefully enthusiastic about what your day looks like. I will say that I guess this is important for me to say, what I've learned thus far about what we can do right here. I've gotten a lot of information from folks in the Department of Corrections, this office. We're able to make phone calls to get a status on your loved one or for someone in corrections. We've been dealing with a lot of Virginia Employment Commission questions. We're able to, if you've got somebody turning 100 or celebrating a 50th anniversary or something significant, please go to the website, let us know. We definitely want to make sure we are commending these things, right? We can get you a whole letter to give to your family that we'll sign and saying that we want to commemorate their birthday, their honor roll, your child's honor roll. Like, this is an opportunity for us to celebrate, and that's the goal of this office and always will be, to educate, advocate, and celebrate. I have to say I got that from the Norfolk Preservation Collective, which I love. So that's our job here, okay? And I'll post too a way that you guys can let me know so that I can get some good things rolling for you in the community. OPKV, all right, here's to Friday. Oh, it's not Friday. Here's to Thursday. Um, until next time, I am Jackie Glass, Mama, Navy vet, certified doer, just like you, because you getting up here early. Certified doers, and your delegate for the House of District 89th District, House of Delegates 89th District. And again, your laced up legislator. I'm just going to own it. People say what they want, but we are comfortable up in here and we are working hard. We're always ready, right? Until next time, make it a great day, and I'll see you guys soon. Oh, thank you, Denise. I appreciate you. Thank you, Michelle, and thank you, Deborah.